Hey, it's Molly here for another episode of Get Rich, the podcast that helps you do just that, get rich and stay rich. Now, we are talking all things batteries today, and not the type you put in your remote control. We're talking home batteries. And before this conversation, I couldn't have told you anything about batteries, and now I feel like I've got a really good understanding. So today I'm sitting down and I'm chatting with Leigh from RESINC. Now, this is one of Australia's highest rated and most awarded solar company. Literally every time I speak to him, I feel like they've just finished winning an award. And he's going to be breaking down all the stuff we need to know about batteries. So we cover what home batteries actually do, how they work with solar, most importantly, what they cost and the government rebates available, plus how long they take to pay for themselves and whether it's actually worth the investment. We also cover some other really interesting topics of things I'd never even heard about, like virtual power plants, where you can actually earn money from your batteries by selling it back to the grid and protecting yourself from blackouts, and how batteries can help reduce your electricity bill massively. So if you've ever wondered whether a home battery is for you or you're simply battery curious, this episode is going to be one I think you will enjoy. Remember, if you haven't checked it out yet, head over to our website and look at our brand new fancy directory. So this is a place that you can connect with different financial experts. So think of us as your financial matchmaker. All right, let's really get into it. All right, Leigh, welcome back to the podcast. We're excited to have you on to talk all things Batteries 101.
Fantastic. Great to be back on, Molly.
Now, it was really cute when I put on the Instagram that I was going to be talking to you, and does anyone have questions about batteries? Someone was like, yeah, how do we recycle them? And I was like, no, wrong battery. We're talking about home batteries today. So I guess really, in simple terms, to kick us off, Leigh, what does a home battery actually do?
Well, very simple terms, home battery will allow you to capture your excess solar power, put it into the battery during the afternoon when you're potentially not at home or not using much power. And then in the evening and overnight, draw that power back out of your battery for use in the home.
Awesome. So we're obviously saving on our electricity bill.
Of course.
And I'm assuming you have to have solar panels to have a battery.
Technically, you don't. Under the current incentive schemes and rebates, you do. So They like to have a home that is generating its own power to fill the battery. Mm-hmm. However, we've got some very interesting things coming up for the Australian consumer. We've got 3 hours for free power in Victoria, New South Wales and Southeast Queensland.
Great.
Which means if you've got a battery that you wanted to charge from the grid during the afternoon, between the hours of 11 a.m. and 2 p.m, you potentially could.
Oh, wow. Okay. And guys, just to emphasize that, because that's a pretty big deal, which I feel like is not getting enough kind of airplay. Obviously it is for New South Wales, Victoria and Southeast Queensland, but that's 3 free hours of electricity. So you can charge your car, you can put your timers on for the dishwasher, the washing machine. And Leigh, why is the government giving us free power?
Absolutely. So we've got excess power during the days now. So the actual spot market price of electricity is dropping to zero or sometimes below zero. And on a nice sunny day, there's so much solar power going into the grid from all of the homes. We've got 4.5 million homes that have adopted solar already. Wow. As well as businesses. And there's a lot of homes generating more than their own power and feeding back to the grid. So they call it the solar sharer program, where people that have solar are able to share the power with neighbours, with energy retailers providing 3 hours of free power. So it means if you've got solar, you can use even more power, especially on a wet day if there's not as much sunshine as you'd hope. But if you don't have solar, you've got that benefit of 3 hours of free power. Optimise, move your loads around that you can. Dishwasher, washing machine, timers, you said it, Molly.
Great.
Free power.
Awesome. I'm not going to pretend I know much about power, Leigh. I really don't. Frustrates my father. But how much power would we be using in a day? Is it watts?
Yeah, kilowatt hours we talk.
Kilowatt hours?
The average household's 20 to 25 kilowatt hours. Mm-hmm. But we see anywhere from 6 to 8 kilowatt hours on the low side, all the way up to 150 to 200 kilowatt hours on the high side. So if you've got a nice big acreage house or a lot going on, you might be up towards that 50 to 100 kilowatt hours in a day. Yeah. The average home, 2-3 bedroom home, is about that 20 kilowatt hours.
Awesome. So what does it cost? Obviously, we're Ladies Finance Club. We want to know what the cost is and the return of investment. How much is the typical setup cost for a homeowner for a battery? And then we can talk about maybe if the government gives you anything back, rebates.
Yeah, so for a residential home, you can be anywhere from $5,000 entry point for a battery all the way through to, say, $50,000 for a residential home.
Wow.
Rebates that come from that. So we've just installed and donated a system for a wish list here, wish list Reed House. And that's a 50 kilowatt hour battery. So that's towards that top end of the scale.
Yeah.
An average residential install, we're looking at about $10,000 as an entry point for a residential home.
And how much power would that store?
Yeah, so that'd be, say, 15, 20 kilowatt hours of storage. So for most homes, you can store the excess from your power generation during the day, pull it back up at night, and be fairly grid independent most days.
Yeah, because you just mentioned the average house uses 25. So then if you've got a battery of 20 and then you're using that, like you're using solar during the day, you'd probably be in surplus, right?
Yeah, so if your solar system generates 25, 30 kilowatt hours in a day, and you're using 20 to 25 throughout 24-hour period, is you may use 10 of those kilowatt hours during the sunlight hours, and then store another 15 into your battery overnight and pull back that 15 as you get home from work, you're cooking dinner, you've got the TV on, the air conditioning on, wake up in the morning, they're still charging your battery, make your breakfast, and then the sun comes up and do it all over again.
And do you physically have to switch it on or does it automatically know?
No, it's all automatic, even when the power goes out. So you've got power blackout protection.
Yeah.
And that's an instantaneous changeover for most systems.
Well, I know that was the big reason my parents wanted to get a battery because we had a really bad storm a few years ago in Queensland and they lost power for like 7 days.
Yeah, we had the same in Southeast Queensland at the time, and 7-day blackout was pretty common. We had friends up to 14 days in the hinterlands.
Yeah.
And it's a huge surge in batteries in Southeast Queensland as a result. A lot of customers up in Cairns as well, where they get cyclones more regularly.
Yeah.
And that's one of the great things about a battery is it saves you money. So you got a great return on investment there. For the average household, that's going to be anywhere from 4 years to 7 years for a battery generally.
Yeah.
But it does depend on how much you utilize it and how big of the batteries you go.
Yeah.
And then blackout protection. When you do have a storm, when you have a power surge, you've got power there.
Which we're seeing more and more of lately. And so let's say the power goes out. Does your solar still work during the day? Can it still be putting into the battery or do you need initial power for it to work?
So it depends on the design of your system.
Okay.
So we custom design every solution for the customer's needs.
Okay.
If you have the panels directly connected through a hybrid inverter, it's called, and into the batteries, when there is a blackout, your system will continue running even when there's no power. The sun comes up, the solar comes on, continues to power the home, replenish the batteries, and you can run in that mode off grid for as long as you have sufficient solar and battery power.
Amazing. And does solar still work on a grey day?
It certainly does. It doesn't work as well when it's overcast and rainy.
Yeah.
But solar works from the solar irradiation. So similar to how we get a sunburn on a overcast day, the solar system will still generate power on an overcast day, just not as much as a nice sunny day.
Okay, awesome. And so are there any government incentives or rebates? I know there was one in Queensland, but what about for the rest of the country? Are there any like rebates, deals we can get?
There certainly is. There's what's called a cheaper home battery program rebate at the moment.
Okay.
And that's up to about $6,500 for a residential battery system. They changed it recently because a lot of people were installing unnecessarily large batteries that they would utilise and taxpayer-funded money, so they were pretty smart in changing that and reducing it down. So it really focuses on that battery that majority of homes need, 14 to 28 kilowatt-hour size battery. And you're receiving a rebate for anywhere from about $4,000 to $6,000 in that range.
Awesome. So let's say the battery cost you $10,000. Does that mean the government's giving you $6,000?
Yeah, so they designed it so that it'd be about 30 to 40% reduction on the cost of a battery for most homes. So if you've got a battery that might be a $15,000 battery, that might come down to, say, $11,000.
Awesome. And I know my sister's very transparent. She actually, because that is no small means, but she got an inheritance. One of our grandparents sadly passed away and she actually used her inheritance to purchase a battery because otherwise it would have taken them quite a long time. Are there any other kind of pay it off schemes that people can use that you know about?
Yeah, absolutely. We have what we call a green loan. So green loans have been set up for people purchasing renewable energy products, so solar panels and batteries.
Yeah.
So there's green loans up to 10 years, even 15 years.
Wow.
So it works similar to a personal loan, but it's designed around installing a solar product that saves you money as well. So the ideal design is if you could install a solar system and battery at no upfront cost, and the savings that system generates, which is avoided power bills, covers the repayments, then you're better off day one. No upfront cost, saving money on your power bills that you're using to pay off the system. So it's really, really good these days.
How do people sign up for that?
That's easy. You can come through RESINC if you'd like. We are the highest rated, most awarded solar company in the country now.
Yeah.
So we're happy to help. We do a custom design consultation for everyone. There's plenty of other solar companies. There's some great sites like Solar Quotes as well that will connect you with 3 different providers. But yeah, I think the most important step is to become educated, to speak to someone, to custom design a solution for your home, run through those options. Then you've got the dollars and cents. And if the dollars do make sense, then it's worthwhile.
I guess they'll be able to, on that consultation, like look at the return on investment as well and when you could have this paid off by.
Yeah, correct. So we do a full analysis there on what the expected return on investment based on the savings and the capital cost of the system.
Yeah.
And we find 9 times out of 10, it is a positive cash flow scenario if someone is financing it.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of people, the penny drops and it becomes the no-brainer is when they realize they're spending money on power bills anyway.
Yeah.
You can divert that money over the next 5, 7, 10 years to pay for the cost of your system. And then once that's paid off, it's free power thereafter.
And I think as well as we've just seen like a big, oil crisis and we've seen petrol prices really go up. I had to say, like the property I'm in at the moment, I'm very fortunate that it has solar and it has a battery and we have a Tesla. So that whole period of time, we didn't actually, again, I know it's a privileged position to be in, but I didn't even look at the petrol prices because I was like, that just doesn't affect me. But having solar and having a battery, it does protect you from these kind of bigger global crises that are going on.
Yeah, it certainly does. It's a really good hedge, we call that, in finance, of course. Now, especially now that petrol prices are going up, we've seen a huge surge in interest in EVs, of course.
Yeah.
But also in battery and solar systems. We've got a lot of customers that we installed 5, 7, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
That are now coming back and saying, you know what, my system served my needs previously.
Yeah.
Or the power I'm using in my house has come from my solar and my batteries.
Yeah.
But we just bought an EV and now we're pulling electricity from the grid.
Yeah.
So they're looking at that twofold is can I expand my solar system so that the power I'm putting in is free? Secondly, is they bought an EV, part of that decision is environmental and they're plugging it into the grid and using coal-fired power.
Yeah.
So both so that it's environmental and also independent and free power off the roof. Larger solar system, you can offset not just your power bill, but also your fuel bill.
Yeah, love that. Double whammy.
A mother-in-law that we installed a solar system for, and she's offset a gas bill as well. So
yes.
gas appliances to electric around the kitchen. Yeah. Now she's got just the solar and batteries.
Love that. Before we jumped on air, we were talking about virtual power plants. What are they and how do they work?
So virtual power plant is, consider it like a community battery almost, where you get to aggregate your batteries as a pool. So you work with an energy retailer that has a virtual power plan or virtual power plant plan. And with the grid, when there's a really high spike in prices based on demand and shortage of supply, is that energy retailer can dispatch power from your battery as well as 10,000 other solar battery customers and discharge that into the grid and profit from that. Now that grid price, we usually buy power for around 35 cents from the grid.
Yeah.
At its highest, that can spike up to about $14 a kilowatt hour.
Whoa.
So if you've got a 20 kilowatt hour battery that's fully charged and there's one of those moments that happen and you can push 10 kilowatt hours from your battery into the grid, it can be as high as $100, $140 in profit in that moment. So a virtual power plant when signed up is because you've got, again, we'll use the word hedge, because you're generating your own power, solar, storing that in a battery. So if you need more power than the solar's generating, you can pull it from your battery, is you're not so much exposed to those high prices. So you go on a wholesale plan where you can buy power even cheaper from the grid overnight when you do need it if you don't have enough in your battery and solar. But you can also accelerate the return on investment of your system by participating in the wholesale prices when they're really high by sending excess power to the grid. So we often see that'll take a return on investment of a battery from, say, 7 or 8 years, battery and solar system, down to as low as 3, 4, 5 years.
Wow. So you're almost making, you're making money off your battery.
Yeah, correct. You go from paying an electricity bill to not only reducing that down to zero, but getting credits back on your bill in a lot of cases.
I mean, it sounds good. Sounds good. Side hustle, my battery.
And also, like Molly, is this tax-free income there on as a household electricity plan.
Boom.
They say $1 saved is better than $1 earned because you're not paying tax on it.
Indeed.
So you can save a couple of $1,000s a year on your power bills through solar and batteries, and then make a little bit of money on a virtual power plant. It's a real win-win.
That is huge. And is that all done via an app or like a website?
Yeah, it's all done via an app, and there's smart algorithms there. People can choose what level they want to actively participate in a virtual power plant.
Yeah.
Most people just choose to go completely passive, let the algorithms decide when it buys and sells.
Yeah.
Other people, though, is they take a real interest into it, especially retired engineers. They love the app and they want to be into it.
And retired vets as well. My dad loves it.
Yes. Yes. And then, you can choose to participate in moments. You can choose to change the behavior of your battery. And so, it does become a little bit of a game for some people. I believe it's easier just to set it, forget it, let the algorithms do what they do.
I think that's what I'd be doing, and most people would be doing, unless obviously they're a boomer male. Awesome.
It's also return on investment on your time as well. Is it worth
exactly
in your app? And
So how long does the installation take?
Typically, most systems are pretty straightforward and they take 1 day.
Wow.
Larger residential systems can be 2, 3, up to 4 days for a really large, complex system.
Awesome. And just like final 2 questions, what's the biggest mistake you find when people are buying a battery?
So we have not had a single customer ever come back to us and say, I bought a battery that was too big. We have had a number of customers come back and say, I wish I had bought a bigger battery when I first time round.
Can you add on to it if you need? Like, let's say you had the 10, can you do another 10 later? Yes,
absolutely. So most batteries are modular these days. So you can either add a whole nother battery unit or battery units. So modular bricks, we call them. So you might have a 5 kilowatt hour modular unit. So might have 15 kilowatt hours, and then you can come back and add another 5 or 10 later on.
Yeah.
The incentives are designed to be a one and done, the cheaper home battery rebate.
Yeah.
So you're best off right-sizing your battery initially through correct consultation and custom design of a solution. Yeah. And there's a lot of people that are just one size fits all or rushing decisions through, and it's not the right design system for that customer's current and future needs.
And I don't know I'll ask it anyway. If you move house, can you take your battery with you?
Technically you could, but generally you wouldn't. It is approved and the rebate applied for that household.
Okay.
You do need an electrician to both install it and remove it, but also a well-designed, high-quality battery and solar system will add value to a house.
Yes. I was going to say that you wouldn't want to take it because you're taking value away from the home.
Yeah, correct. So you leave that one in place. It's commonplace that we've got repeat customers. Our record is a customer who is onto their 4th property in the last 10 years.
Wow.
She moves in, renovates, sells, buys another property, moves in, renovates, sells. She's avoiding the capital gains tax by doing principal place of residence, I believe.
Ah, interesting.
Value each time, promotes it with a brand new solar system and battery stack, and then on to the next project.
Love that. And then final question, just to wrap it all up, Leigh, if someone's sitting on the fence about getting a battery, what would you say to them?
I would say the cost of everything is going up. The cost of living, the cost of mortgages, the cost of solar, batteries, plastics, fuel, all raw ingredients and inputs are going up, but so are electricity bills. The one thing that's not going up are the rebates to install batteries and solar. They're actually reducing down. So my recommendation is if you are looking to get solar and batteries, reach out, have a consultation. If the dollars make sense, fantastic. If you need a green loan or a finance plan to help out, they're available as well. But it's one of the only living expenses that we can take control of at the moment.
Love that.
I think it's important. We need certainty, security, and also you've got that peace of mind that in a blackout, you've still got power.
Yeah, incredible. Awesome. Well, this has been very eye-opening. I have to say my knowledge of batteries has gone up tenfold, considering I knew nothing before we started this conversation. And Leigh, if people want to get in touch with you and your team, where should they go?
They can go to the website, resinc.com.au, and if you go with a /LFC, Ladies Finance Club, then we can help you out and the team will look after you.
Well, there you go, guys. There's a bit more information on batteries at 101. Thank you so much, Leigh, for coming on to the podcast and explaining it all to me so clearly.
Thank you, Molly. You had fantastic questions, and I think that'll help a lot of people.
Awesome. Love that.